Hey everyone, it's Bob Perkins bringing you another episode of First Know Your Buyer. Here, week number 2, back again is Ashley Gagliano. Ashley, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
It's good to have you again. And Ashley's with Emblaze, formerly AISP, where I worked. So I know how important it is for you to have great discussions and to communicate effectively with people you know and people that you talk to for the first time. So last week you shared kind of a story of a meeting that didn't go so well because you didn't have time to prepare or to research. This week it's a success story. So all yours.
Yeah, well, if you listened to last week, don't ever do that because it is truly embarrassing. And it literally scarred me. Well, I will tell you since then, that will never happen again. But one of the things I will say is, I'm on a lot of meetings where a lot of people invite other people on. And it's always key to watch who they're forwarding it to pre the meeting. And this particular meeting was actually a pretty big deal. I had four or five people on, and the leader I was meeting with, we knew each other. We're starting to do some things together. It was a newer relationship, but he ended up adding a few other leaders on within his team and the team that supported him, and I wanted to make sure I knew who I was going to be speaking to, and obviously did my natural pre-research, understanding, hey, what are we going to be talking about, what was his expectations from our last call to bring to this one. So looking at some of my notes and things, but then also who did he invite on, and looking up obviously their LinkedIn. And I use Crystal for this quite a bit. I actually tapped into Crystal just to understand, how they were, how do they like to be spoken to? What are some key things? Even down to how to my tone, how should I be talking? Should I be talking a certain way? Should I be more fun and outgoing, or should I be a little more serious? I really leveraged Crystal for that, and then obviously bumped it with the LinkedIn as well, and what they're chatting about, through LinkedIn, what they're liking, how long they've been in their role, what was their previous role, and things like that. So just kind of understanding that. So then I know how to represent myself. I think that's a key thing for a seller and anybody who's talking to any decision makers within a company and representing your company, is understanding who you're speaking to, but down to even more of the softer skills as well, because you could totally turn them off. You make some crazy joke and they're not that type of person, right? So you really gotta understand who you're speaking with, and it's good. I mean, tools like Crystal are huge in being able to read that.
And that you mentioned 4 or 5 people on this call, roughly. Yeah. And how could you tell that some of them were chatty, others were more serious, different personalities? How did you, 2 questions. How did you kind of bounce around and manage to that? And then secondly, what was the outcome of the meeting?
Yeah, so a couple of people were a little more, were a little more lighthearted, like to have a little fun. You didn't have to be so serious. I did have more of an analytical guy on there that was very he likes the data. He likes to know how is this going to affect the company? So I understood that. So I always have a notebook next to me. So I write down everyone's names that are going to be on, and I wrote down how to interact with each. Nice. And as I'm talking to them, I was a little lighthearted with the other guys. And then I said, I'm just going to use Joe as the name. Hey, Joe, I know what's important is, the data and analytics around this, how this is going to impact your teams. And here's some things I can tell you, what we've heard from other companies out there that have done this.
Love it.
And he was like, how did you know? And
this is so good.
I was like, I'm just good. And I just made a little joke. I said, no, I just have some great technology partners that I utilize. I need to hear more of this. And I said, after this call, I'll send you some details.
And so did you get business out of this? You don't have to go into details, but it was a success.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were very impressed. I mean, they're like, we're definitely going to do something. So we were looking at a lot of different avenues, from our sales certifications to the leadership events and things like that, and membership, and some of the other things that we have going on. So basically, they did end up moving forward. We did set
Okay.
up another meeting, but all in all, that yes, knowing who you're talking to and relating with them down to that level is so key. Yeah.
You mentioned Crystal. If you're watching this, you want to see how effective Crystal can be. We have a free trial for you here, and try it out for yourself. Take some of Ashley's best practices, add those to the personality predictions in Crystal, and see what you think. You had mentioned AISP now in Blaze. You have an upcoming summit is it April?
We do. It's April 2nd through the 4th. It's for our sales and revenue leaders, and a lot of companies utilize this. It's called the Digital Revenue Summit. A lot of companies utilize it as like their leadership outing and bring their leadership teams in from manager all the way up to the C. And we have tracks for your enablement leaders, marketing, ops, all the way through, again, your sales leaders. But it is a fantastic event, and it's a great way to hear the latest research and data, but then also hear from your peers on what they're doing well and what's working and what's not working, and get some new ideas to bring to your organization.
Can't wait to see you. Thanks so much, Ashley, for sharing this.
Yeah, well, I hope to see you next year in April, and also the Crystal team as well.
I'll be there for sure. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Until next time, good selling. And remember, first know your buyer.